Appeals meeting for February 28th to order. And first thing we do is, if you wouldn't mind joining me as we turn and face the flag and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Taylor.
Here?
Member Beckles.
Here.
Member Van Deven.
Here.
Member Wheelis.
Here.
Alternate Member John Green.
Here. Very good. So we have a full quorum here tonight of 5. First up is the approval for the minutes of January 24th, 2024. Were there any corrections or additions that anyone noticed that needed to be added to the minutes? Didn't see anything. Not seeing anything. Staff, y'all all happy with it too? Okay. I'll take a motion then, please.
I move to approve the minutes.
Have a motion? Do I have a
Second.
second? All right, Member Beckles, thank you. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, passes unanimously. Unanimously, is that word? Okay. Okay, got a little speech to read here, so hang in there. All persons who anticipate speaking on any public item to be held must be filled on the item tonight, must be fill out an oath card to be heard on that agenda item and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located at a table near the entrance to the council chamber and may be obtained from the recording secretary. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with procedures adopted in Resolution 24-1997. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first. Those opposed will be heard second, and those who wish to make a public comment on the item may speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. A representative for either side, for or against, may cross-examine a witness. Anyone who speaks is considered a witness. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents that you desire for the commission to consider, they must be submitted into evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the recording secretary. And I believe I saw y'all over there at the podium already filling out your paperwork. Yes. Very good. Thank you. Staff, have the item before us tonight been properly advertised?
Yes, the item has been properly advertised.
Okay. Members, have any of you visited the site or spoken to anyone in the public regarding the item that is on our meeting agenda tonight?
I have visited the site.
Did you speak with anyone?
Absolutely not.
Very.
On my way here this evening.
Oh, okay. So
It was a drive-by.
it was a drive-by. Okay. You did a drive-by.
Oh, is that you?
Okay, so we have acknowledgement. We do have a drive-by. Very good. I am sure that I have driven by it many times myself over the years, but not in the last week or so. We have nothing on the consent agenda or old business, so we will move directly to item number 2 under new business, variance number 4-2024 at 680 Concord Avenue. So staff, will you please enlighten us?
Thank you. So it's for variance number 4-2024 for 680 Concord Ave. The variance request. The applicant is requesting a variance to the Land Development Regulations, Chapter 28, Section 28-304C, to allow a side corner yard setback of 15 feet instead of the required 20 feet for a detached accessory structure for a property located in the single-family medium-density zoning district, located on 680 Concord Ave, Titusville, Florida, 32780, as submitted by Robert Carden, owner. The subject property is 0.25 acres, and the lot's a corner lot with approximately 100 linear feet of frontage on Concord Ave and 109 linear feet of frontage on Gettysburg Drive. These dimensions meet the minimum 7,500 square foot lot area and 75-foot width requirements for the R1B zoning district, and it does have a detached single-family residence that was constructed in 1967. And before getting to the analysis, the powers of the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, the LDR Section 34-226 states that the board shall grant a variance request when, in the opinion of the Board of Adjustments and Appeals, owing to special conditions, the literal enforcement of such ordinance or regulations would do manifest injustice to or impose an unnecessary hardship upon the applicant. In order to authorize any variance to the provisions of such ordinance, the board must consider the following criteria. Special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other land structures or buildings in the same zoning. Special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. Granting the variance requested will not confer upon the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. The literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance. The variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. The granting of the variance will preserve the spirit of the ordinance and remain in harmony with its general purpose and intent. And in granting the variance, the public safety and welfare must be assured. And in no case shall granting of the variance result in a change of use which would not be permitted in that zone. So with that, the applicant is requesting a variance to the land development regulations to allow for the construction of a shed with a 15-foot side corner yard setback instead of the required 20-foot side corner yard setback. The proposed shed placement is along the west side of the house bordering Gettysburg Drive. The principal structure has a 25.9-foot west side setback. The applicant is intending to place an 8-foot by 20-foot shed within 15 feet of the property line, leaving a 2.9-foot offset from the shed to the home. The land development regulations and the Florida Building Code do not have a distance requirement between the accessory structure and the primary structures. The applicant states that the property is a corner lot on a dead-end street, surrounded by a 6-foot-tall vinyl fence and trees helping to shield the shed's outline. Gettysburg Drive is a dead-end road that abuts a preserved tract owned by the Homeowners Association for the neighboring subdivision, Plantation Oaks. In 2023, a building permit for a 6-foot vinyl fencing was approved, placing fencing along the west side of the property towards the front of the house. The lot does not appear to have any special conditions or circumstances that would create a hardship that would prevent the installation of a shed within the required setbacks. Staff discussed with the applicant the option to relocate the shed further southeast to the minimum 20-foot rear property line setback, and the property owner stated that there were trees on the property that impacted the shed placement. Staff recommends denial of the variance. The variance is not the minimum necessary to make possible reasonable use of the property. The shed would not encroach into the 20-foot setback if moved over to the east side of the property, and there appear to be no other structures or obstacles within the backyard that would minimize the placement options. There are no special conditions or circumstances that exist which are peculiar to the land. The lot conforms to the R1B zoning district dimension requirements, and granting the variance could provide special privilege that is otherwise denied by ordinance. The literal interpretation of the code will not deprive the owner of the rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zoning district. However, if the board is inclined to approve the request, the staff will recommend a condition that opaque fencing or landscaping with a minimum height of 6 feet be maintained as to screen the accessory structure from the street.
Thank you, staff. Are there any questions that anyone on the board would have of the staff at this time? Okay, all right. So at this time, with no questions of staff on this, we'll open it up for a public hearing. May we, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your light.
It's like an administrative question more so than
Okay.
anything else. Okay, here on the, in the actual application, it says a height of size feet instead of 6.
Yes,
Does
I
that
do
need to be
apologize
correct?
for that. I realized as I was reading, it is 6 feet.
But does that need to
Minimum
be
height of
corrected in
6 feet be
minutes?
maintained is the
Or
recommended
does that need to be
condition.
corrected, like, in the minutes or anything before we?
That's just the
the
staff
next meeting?
report, so if
It
you
doesn't
were
matter.
to move forward with that as a condition, that would be accurately reflected in what you vote on tonight.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
So, okay. I don't see the word six, okay. All right, thank you for catching that. I didn't see that. All right, in this case, we'll go ahead and open up to the public. May we have the first card, please?
Robert Cardin.
Welcome, Mr. Carter. If you would, give your name and your full address for the record, please.
My name, Robert Carden, 680 Concord Avenue, Titusville, 32780. Can I begin? Well, we've been here now about a year and a half. We started when we bought the house. We moved down from North Carolina, although we're both from Florida. Over the years, I retired here from the military, and my wife grew up in Miami but we missed our family and we came back. But we bought the house specifically because it was next to my sister-in-law, but the house needed some work. We have, of course, honey. The first thing we had to do was a new roof, and because we needed, as soon as we got the 5-point inspection, we got killed in the new roof time. Then subsequently, a new sewer system from the house, from the street to the house, and all the water systems, of course, that had to be replaced as well. But at that time, we always knew we wanted to put a shed in the back. So we had made plans for, that. When they did the sewer lines, we made sure that the pump out or the clean out was not in the way, and we moved the sprinkler heads around so that wouldn't be affected either. When I took the measurements, that we didn't have we had a fence. We have a fence around the rest of the property, which is a 6-foot cyclone fence. I think it's 6 foot. It might be taller, but so we took that section down because the side is 2,500 feet. It's 100 by, well, a little more than 25, but that was the ideal spot for the shed, we thought. So when I took the measurement, I didn't really look at the survey. I took out a tape and I measured it out, and I got to the curb, to the sidewalk, and I said, oh, that's good. But I didn't know that there's a strip of land there that's on the inside of the sidewalk that's not ours. So that when I learned that when I applied for the building permit for the shed. So that was a bit of a setback, and here we are. In point of fact, the shed is 6 foot, and we did put it up. And if I can bring you some photographs, if I could?
Please.
Is that allowed?
Yes, sir. All right. Will you be able to leave it with us, though? All right, sir. That's the fence, okay.
Yes, the fence, the gates are there, and the actual, the shed would start 30 feet back from the front edge of the house. So it's a good distance back, and I think right now it's that, of course, it's partially camouflaged by some trees and that we have started. Other than that, I'm hopeful that you'll grant us the variance. And it's a little confusing when the young lady mentioned moving it to the southeast, because that would be a little difficult to get to back in there, considering that it has a cyclone fence completely around it, and it would be an impact on the view of what we have in the back of the house with the shrubbery and the what have you. It's nice to have a green belt there. In the back, it really is. That was one of the pluses that we knew that we were going to get from that, with the owl at night that we hear and the birds and such. So, but hopefully we'll take it from there. If I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
I'll ask one. What color have you chosen for this shed to be?
It's a pale blue, similar to that, with I think it's a white trim.
Okay, so it matches the house.
Yes, has 2 windows and 2 doors, one on either end.
Oh, okay.
So, and it has access directly from the garage door in the back. We can walk directly there, right into the shed. That would help a lot.
Okay, sir. Other questions?
In looking at your survey sketch, you indicate a tree behind the house
Yes.
directly. How big is that tree? Is it,
Let's see, not that, it's a flowering,
Which tree, is that the
one in the corner.
Oh, that's a wild tree. Sherman, it was in a
Okay.
pot. My sister wanted to do it.
I would say 6 feet tall.
It's not in
And then there's a poinciana, which is growing there almost in front of the shed. That's about 6 feet, 5 or 6 feet. It took a hit in the winter, but it's doing okay.
okay, thank you.
Do I see anybody else has any questions of this witness? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Are there any other cards?
No, sir.
Very good. Well, then we will close the public discussion and bring it back before us as a board. And are there any further questions of staff? Staff, I'll ask one question. You had recommended it to put it on the other, he said north, southeast, I believe you said northeast corner to be in the backyard, if that's not correct, if that's correct. Is there room to get a shed in there in that much space with existing? Or has anyone from staff been there is what I'm trying to ask.
No, staff has not been out to the property itself. It was going off of the survey for the, moving it to the northeast in the rear.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with questions for staff or comments back and forth amongst us?
In looking at the photographs, the fence does a very good job of pretty much disguising anything that might be behind that, between that and the house. And given that the property was built in 1967, not too sure that we had 20-foot side yard setbacks in 1967. So that's kind of one of the things that seems to keep cropping up is houses are built with some specific setbacks, and the code comes along and changes it. And essentially, in my opinion, it's taking away some rights that the property owner have, expectation of being able to develop the property in the manner that they built the house for. So that's, I don't know how we address that other than saying we'll mitigate it with the 6-foot fence, maintain it, and allow it to go ahead the way it is.
Okay. Are there any other discussion or comments anybody has?
Did a drive-by on the way here this evening. It's a beautiful home, very well maintained, new roof, brand-new fence. Rich was asking about a tree in the backyard. They have a tree out front, several trees, an old-growth pine and palm on the corner that really just set the tone. One of the best maintained-looking homes in the neighborhood. Can't imagine the shed, with the thought he's put into it, being a detriment to the neighborhood.
Well, just knowing the area myself and looking at it, if that street had still been there, Gettysburg, of course, that was rebuilt and repurposed back behind it. I can't see myself that that would be a problem. I don't see that we've had any objections from the neighbors coming in before. So I'm inclined that this, and I do agree with staff's suggestion that the fence be maintained, and it's already there, so.
Everything's maintained at this
Everything.
particular residence.
Well, that's wonderful. We're glad to have residents that take care of their properties.
Indeed.
So that's my thoughts. Anybody else have a thought to share? All right. Well, in that case, I'll be happy to entertain a motion.
Needs to. I'll make a motion to approve variance number 042024.
With the extra language at the bottom?
with the extra staff recommendations on,
Page 11.
yes, on page 11. Specifically, the fencing minimum size be maintained, and it is existing and brand new and looking good to screen the accessory structure from the street.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Very good. Is there any further discussion by anyone? Very well. May we have roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Taylor,
Yes.
Member Beckles,
Yes.
Member Van Deven,
Yes.
Member Wheelis,
Yes.
alternate Member Green.
Yes.
Very well. Your variance has been approved by us. Congratulations. And thank you for having a great-looking house in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. As a matter of fact, the people who moved across the street on the dead-end street are doing the same thing. They're putting in a fence like ours and.
Wonderful. Well, that is great. Well, thank you very much.
Further back,
Yeah, we have to be up in front of the mic if you want to talk, but so, that's fine. Thank you very much for coming in, and have a great evening.
thank you very much.
All right. Okay, staff, do we have anything else
Thank you
to,
all very much. Thank
you're
you
welcome.
for reading it.
Nothing from staff.
All right, and I see there's, thank you. I see there's no one here from the public to make any comments tonight, so staff, any updates from you?
No updates from staff.
No? Have we had any applications for next month yet?
We have 5.
Ooh, and I'm not gonna be here, so, I'm leaving town. Fly away, that's good. Counselor, glad to have you here. Haven't seen you in quite a while, sir.
Glad to be here. It has been a while.
Well, it has been.
Forgot how much I enjoyed this board.
Oh, you don't like the 4 and 5 o'clock meetings that,
Oh, I love those, but this is a nice break.
very good. Well, as I said before myself, I will miss the next meeting, and I hope y'all have fun. So I'm leaving the country, so it's up to you.
It is March the 24th.
28th or 27th, hang on.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like, I'm not familiar with this laptop. It's not. There we go. March 27th.
27th, because this is leap year. They added a month
Yeah,
to
that's-
January.
that's what
Didn't
threw me off.
Copy March, exactly. Anything for you for good of the order? All right. Anything down here? All right, I see nothing. In that case, we will go ahead and, as our chairman would say, record time. So we are adjourned. All right, thank you.